here I want to show an example of how to configure a OPC UA adapter to send data to the Pi server and to OCS. In here on the left hand side, I can see I have my OPC UA adapter. In particular, I can see that I have two streams that I've defined, two tags inside of my OPC server, and there is here's the data generation and how they're generating data for each of the ones. So here my flow tag is representing a sinusoid tag, and the pressure tag is just being simulated by a counter going up and down. In my simulator, I can also see information about where this information is located within my OPC UA server. So here I can see that my pressure, the internal name of it is NS is equal to 3, so namespace is equal to 3, I is equal to 1002, so the index is equal to 1002. This is the information that allows me to uniquely pinpoint where the tag is in the OPC UA server. So this is the information that I can use to be able to configure my adapter to know where my OPC UA server is and what data that I want to collect. And here on the right hand side of my screen is I have Postman is a tool to configure REST APIs in general. And I'm using Postman because adapters can be configured via an API. I can either send configuration via a request or retrieve information. Let's see a very simple example where I'm going to ask the adapter, give me your version number. So here I can see that I have the adapter that's installed locally. So it's installed on my local host machine. And I'm asking itself, give me the product information. The product information will include this very useful application number. So here I can see I'm using OPC UA's adapter version 1.1. And now I can do other things like configure where I'm going to send the data, where is my data source, where is this other information. For example, let's look at where I've configured my data source to be. And I've requested it to be, the data source should be under my Pi server 1, PySchool.int, port number, and OPC UA simulation server. And let's see, just to make sure that this matches. Yep, I can see that. I can see that I have this information is correctly indicated. And I can also see the information about how I defined it is I'm using, this is the naming pattern for my tags or my streams in OCS will be based on the namespace index dot the identifier. The namespace index is what I've named this data source, and I've named it the name process after the name of the OPC UA server. The identifier will be based on either the information of the OPC UA server, so these namespace equal to 3 or I is equal to 103, or an override. Let's see how it would specify what data I'm collecting and how it would specify this information. So here I'm going to look at the data that I've configured, and I've configured both of these tags to be collected. So this flow tag is being collected here, and my pressure is being collected here. In the flow tag, what I'm specifying, I'm saying, I want to collect this information, so that's why I'm using the true information. I want to specify on my OPC UA server where it is, and if I want to override the name so that in my Pi server I have a different name that I want to use, different name convention, I can specify it here. And here I said I overridden here with the bpump and flow. And in this case here, I'm not overriding it, and the OPC UA adapter is just giving me a new name for this stream. So this is how I can say where the data source is, what data should I collect, and there's other configurations I could do. For example, how do I want to define, filtering of the data. The next thing I want to show is where am I going to actually send the data. And here, if I look at the information about where I'm sending the data, I'm sending the data to two places. So first, there is my PiWave API instance that's installed locally. So if I use this local instance of PiWave API, I can send that data to a Pi data archive to be stored. Pi server to be stored, and I'm also sending it to an OCS instance. In both cases, I need to have some credentials, so I can, when I send the information, the credential information will be stored, but then when I retrieve it, it's been encrypted. I can no longer see it, this information, so it's securely stored. And now let's see this visualization of this data. Here I'm on my Pi server, and I see both of these tags that have been correctly represented and are historized. And if I go to OCS, I see the same thing again. These two tags are stored and historized correctly. Thank you.